welcome to another episode of Immature Adults. I'm your host, Brianna.
And I'm your host, Kira.
And thank you guys so much for tuning in again this week. This week, we wanted to hit on something a little different. So if you guys know me or follow me on Instagram at Read My Credentials, then you know that I have recently just posted about this tool or this guide that I created for first-time home buyers, the people who want to make the leap and purchase their first home. I created the guide because so many of us don't really know anything about the process to buying a home. If you're a first-timer and you literally don't know where to start, what to do, what to say, what to ask, I have put everything in the guide for you, and it is called For Rookies, First Time Home Ownership Guide. You can click the link in my bio, and I'll also put the link to my website in the description. But you can click the link and go to my website and get the guide. All right, so today we wanted to kind of talk to you guys, kind of walk you through a couple of the steps in the process. If you're thinking about purchasing a home, these are probably some of the things that you should be thinking about prior to doing your home search or getting a realtor or going to get pre-approved for a mortgage loan. I mean, unless you got cash, then you don't gotta worry about getting a loan. I have cash, so I don't give me a loan. Step one of the process that I write in the guide is to assess your current situation. This was sort of important for me specifically, and I think for a lot of us who are young professionals who necessarily may not be tied to a particular city or particular job or career. I say assess your current situation because you need to know, okay, if I'm planning on, changing careers, or I want to move to a couple of different other cities first, or I don't necessarily want to be tied down right now, then maybe purchasing a home may not be the best fit for you right now. So that's why I say assess your situation. Also, when you're thinking about assessing your situation, you need to figure out, okay, why do I want to purchase a home? And the reason I say this is important is because knowing your why will help kind of sustain you and help keep you focused throughout the process. It can be a very strenuous and stressful process. And so you need to have in the back of your mind, okay, why am I doing this? Is it to build generational wealth? Is it to potentially have this as a second source of income for me? Or is this my one and only time? This is my first and forever home?
I think beyond that too, it also kind of helps narrow it down. If you know that you're looking because you want your kids to have a good school district, then you already know the areas in which you want to buy a house. When you look up the school districts, you're like, I know I don't want to look here. Right. And so I guess that kind of helps narrow it down as well. Absolutely. Step two, I think, is the most important. And that is assessing your financial situation. It's no secret. Absolutely. You need to have some money when you're trying to purchase a home. But you need to know, before you even talk about the loan types, you need to know what's on your credit report. You need to know your credit scores. You need to know, okay, what's my debt to income ratio? You need to know, okay, how much money do I need to have saved? So those things, what's my credit score? What's on my credit report? What is my debt to income ratio, and how much money do I need to have saved? Those four things are going to be the most important when it comes to assessing your financial situation. The first thing, what's your credit score? There are a lot of apps that you can use. Your bank usually gives you your overall FICO score, and it'll report from one of the three credit bureaus. But I personally use, and I gave this information in the guide, I personally use the My FICO app. My FICO app sort of breaks down your score for each credit bureau. And it also gives you a breakdown for your mortgage loans and your auto loans, as well as your credit card. So what you see, if you were to log on your bank app and see, oh, my credit score is 802. When the bank goes to check your credit to approve you for a mortgage loan, your score may not be 802. It might be 720. And so you're like, that's, almost 100-point difference. Why is that? What does that mean? They use different scoring methods or different scoring types of FICO scores to create your composite score. I like my FICO app because you know ahead of time, okay, what I'm gonna get, at least ballpark range what I'm gonna get. I suggest using the My FICO app. It is a subscription app that you do pay for monthly, but I think it is a good tool to have. You get one free credit score report or credit report from each of the three bureaus.
But you can also go to annualcreditreport.com to get your copy. However, with that one, it doesn't show you all of the accounts that are on there. But you can always go through, like I said, one of the credit bureaus to show like all of the items that are on your credit report. So you need to know what's on your credit report because you need to know if there's anything that's not in good standing. Banks don't want to just see what your composite score is. They want to know, okay, what types of credit do you have? Are your accounts in good standing? So they want to see a good credit mix. So they want to see revolving credit and installment credit. They also want to see your credit history. They want to see your credit payments. Have you been making payments on time? Do you have any collections on your credit report? So there are certain things that the banks want to know about you before they even pre-approve you for a loan. So that's why I say knowing your score and knowing what's on your credit report is very, very, very important, because if there's something that you need to take care of, you need to do it before the bank runs your credit. The third thing that's important when you're assessing your financial health is to know your debt to income ratio. So one of the first things that the bank is going to look at is, okay, how much debt do you have compared to how much income you have? They want to know, okay, if we approve you for a loan, are you able to pay it? Because you still have other debt. It's good to know, right? Because they don't want to, they're taking the risk. The bank sort of has a threshold on where they want your number to be. So typically they do not like to approve people who have a debt to income ratio over around 45%. Some of them 43%. So if you're somewhere in like the teens or the 20s or even the 30s, you're fine. That lets the bank know, hey, this person can not only afford their current debts, but also this additional mortgage payment if we were to issue them this loan. I tell you in the guide how to calculate your debt to income ratio. And you take all of your debt payments that you have each month. So your student loan payments, your credit card payments, your car note payment, all of those things, whatever debt payments you have, add those up and you divide that number by your monthly income, and that will give you that ratio that the bank looks at. So you need to know ahead of time, okay, where am I at?
Would you advise people to just work down some of their debt or
Yes.
do some of those things before applying?
Yes. So if you're at 40% or even a little closer to that 45%, you need to work on paying down some debt first, because the bank is going to take all of that into consideration. It doesn't make it an automatic no, but it definitely is going to count against you. The next thing you need to know as far as assessing your financial health is determining your liquid assets, your liquid funds. In the guide, I list a few items that you will have to pay out of pocket. Those items include your down payment. When the bank issues you the loan and go through that process, you'll have to hand that money over. So you need to have it liquid, ready to go. Now, depending on which loan type you choose will determine the amount of down payment you will have to provide. For some people, it could be 20%. Some people, it could be 3% or 3.5%. It just depends on what you choose. For some people, you don't have to pay a down payment, so you don't have to worry about it. The second thing you need to have ready to go in your liquid funds is your earnest money. So you pay earnest money when the seller and the buyer agrees on a contract for the home. I have to then go to the title company and put earnest money into an escrow account that will essentially hold the house for me. So not only do we have the agreement, but we also have the earnest money.
So it's like a safety deposit?
Almost like a deposit. Yeah, almost like a safety deposit. The earnest money varies in terms of price, but depending on the size of the home or the cost of the home will kind of give you like a ballpark of how much earnest money you'll need to pay. So generally, it can be anywhere from $500 to $2,500, but I've even seen it up to $3,500, and I'm talking for homes that are about $300,000 and less. If your home's millions and millions of dollars, then obviously your earnest money is going to be a lot more.
If you're buying that expensive of a house,
yeah,
you got it.
You got it. Now, the thing you need to know about earnest money: if your loan does not go through, your earnest money is not refundable. So you need to make sure that everything goes through, that there's nothing on your credit. That's why I say check your credit report, because if there's nothing on your credit report, then you're fine. If the bank says, oh, this thing popped up on your credit report, we can't approve you for this loan, then your $1,000 or your $1,500 or $2,500 is gone.
They go to the seller. They just keep it.
It's gone. Yes, it's
I
gone.
don't know where it's at.
We don't know where it's at, but it's gone. You don't get it back. But if everything goes through, then that money that you submitted for earnest money is then applied to your closing costs.
So a cost that I always hear about is closing costs. Does that have to be liquid? Does that have to be ready to go?
Your closing costs are the costs that you pay at closing, which include a lot of your like administration fees, and your bank will give you like a breakdown of what all is included in your closing costs. But closing costs typically are about 3% of the sales price of the home. So for a $250,000 house, closing costs are around $7,500. So money. So it depends on what y'all agree to in that initial offer and negotiation. When they accepted my offer, we agreed that she would not pay anything to closing, that she would pay half my closing or a percentage of my closing, or all of it. So I personally say, if you know your budget, you need to take that 3% and have that set aside just in case you have to pay closing costs. Because if you don't, then you can use that money for something else. So the next thing you need to account for when it comes to your liquid assets is you need to be able to pay for the inspections on your home out of pocket. So the inspections include your general home inspection and your termite inspections. Your termite inspection is usually can be anywhere from $75 to $100. And your general home inspection is anywhere from about $300 to $500. Again, depends on the size of the home, the person that you go with. The bigger the home, the more the inspections cost. The last thing that you need to account for is having to pay for a home buyer's education course. So if your bank requires or your mortgage lender requires that you complete a course, you have to pay that money out of pocket. Most courses run from $100 to $150, and a lot of them post-COVID are online, so you can take that course online. Your bank will send you, if they have that requirement, they will send you a list of companies that you are approved to go through to complete the course, and then you just go through them, pay for it and whatnot, and complete it. And you usually have to have it complete by your closing date, and your bank wants to see that certificate of completion. And the home buyer's education course will take you through each step through the home buying process. Those are the first two steps in the For Rookies First Time Homeownership Guide. Like I said, definitely click the link in the description. It is go to my website, briannareed.com, to get your guide. Not only can you get your guide, I also offer one-on-one sessions. And the sessions are complimentary when you purchase the guide. So you can set up a 30-minute session with me. We can go through the guide together if you want. I can tell you about my personal experiences or the experiences of those that I know and have talked to and worked with. We can talk through your specific situations. If you have questions about something that you might be encountering, we can go through all of that. It is completely complimentary when you buy the guide. And just for listening to this podcast or this YouTube video, wherever you're watching us or listening to us, you get 10% off of the purchase of your guide, which with the discount code ROOKIE, ROOKIE. So you're welcome. Just kidding. Just kidding. No, seriously, you take advantage of the discount code. Get your guide. Like I said, if you're interested in purchasing a home or you know someone who is, I have a ton of information. I have examples, I have links, I have tools, I have all kinds of stuff in there. And it will tell you everything you need to know.
And I will say I was a very distant viewer of Brianna going through the process of buying a home. And there was a lot of learning on the fly. There were a lot of questions. There were a lot of like trial and error things.
Yes.
And I think this would be a easy way to get ahead so that you don't have to go through the same things. You already have the answers. And then on top of that, you get a free session to like actually have somebody to talk to and say, look, I know that the guide says this, but this is my situation, and kind of get that person to bounce ideas off of. Because I will tell you, I know for a fact, you finding the people to talk to who had done this before, or who are experienced in working with different real estate agents or working with different markets, it was difficult, especially if you don't have family who own homes or they don't own homes in the area that you're looking for. So I think this is a really great tool. And if you are thinking about buying a home, or you know someone who is, I think it'd be very advantageous for you.
Yes.
To purchase the guide.
Yes.
So the link will be below.
Yes.
Thank you guys for tuning in. And thank you for tuning in for us every Friday at 12 o'clock.
Yes.
And please be on the lookout for more stuff coming out like this, more how-tos, but also more panel discussions like we had on our last episode. Check out our SoundCloud, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts to listen to our full episodes. And also make sure you're subscribed and that you have that notification bell on so that you can hear from us every Friday at 12.
Every Friday.
Thank you for tuning in. See you next week.
Bye.